Hello, this time I would like to introduce you those two guys from Gigamic.
Hello folks, I'm Benoit. I've been working at Gigamic for 7 years and I'm very happy to be here explaining Gigamic and yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Pierre and I'm the newbie of the team. I just joined Gigamic 2 weeks ago and I'm so happy to be there as I will be in charge also of the Czech Republic.
Thank you. So I'm really glad that we can all together be here. I'm glad that you also visited Prague. I hope you are enjoying it or will be enjoying it. And we just want to spend some time to find out what's Gigamic about, because we've already localized Acropolis with you, and we are going to localize most likely more games, and some games are on the way right now.
Yeah.
And I really like what you do, and I think a lot of people can be quite interesting in it too. So my first question is, what means Gigamic? Why this name?
So the name is actually the founder of the company. So there was like three brothers. So they quit their jobs at that time in 1991, and it's a bit lame. My answer is going to be a bit lame, but they use like kind of algorithm, mixing words like games, giga, which is in French like used by mostly kids and children. Giga means like great or like so fun. Mic, it's a bit like magic. So they kind of try to make it like related to the board game. So Gigamic is also like could be like Gigamic. So yeah, there is no like special meaning, but they try to find something like quite universal. Yeah.
Okay, so basically it means what we can see in it. So it's like gigas, which is something big.
Yeah, exactly.
And so big is just the ending.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much. But giga is not like just for like IT, not like a big thing. It's also like, as I say, used by children in order to say, okay, it's not as, for example, essentially big as the size, but also big as the fun.
Something incredible.
We hope you will get. Yeah, exactly. Something
because
incredible.
we also sometimes use it in Czech.
Yeah.
We can also say that something is giga, meaning like it's really interesting or overwhelming.
Okay, so yeah,
but it's not that common. So
yeah,
good to know.
But
Thank
that's the kind of meaning of the name of the company. Yeah.
Okay, so we already answered my second question about the founding.
Yeah.
So you started with Quarto.
Yeah.
What was the first game that Gigamic did back in 1991?
Correct.
So it's quite a lot of time since then.
Yeah.
And we have your second game, which was 1993, right?
Correct.
Which is Corridor. And so that abstract game line is basically what made Gigamic, or do you think it's the most important part of your portfolio? How it is right now?
Not anymore. Like traditionally, Gigamic started with abstract and wooden games, like Quarto, as you said, and Corridor, which was the second one. There were quite a few after that, like for example, Pillows or Pylos. And also Quixo. Recently, we've released Kawale, which is quite a success. It's based on the Awale game. So initially, we were only doing like, wooden games, but later on, a few years after, we decided to open our range to like more modern games, like Euro games, party games, and family games. So now today, I would say that the biggest like part of our portfolio is for family and fun games rather than abstract games. Abstract games are still quite big in France and worldwide, but now we are kind of more focused on party games and games for family, like small games, easy to explain with usually small price. Yeah.
Okay. So how many people is in Gigamic right now?
So right now we are like almost 40 people. So in the office we are like 32 and we have like 8 people in the warehouse. And during peak time, obviously, we hire like outside people like freelance or some people also for the warehouse. So we are like 40 people, and it keep getting bigger and bigger each year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does it also include all those warehouses? Because I think you have like 3 warehouses around the world.
So we store some games in China, in Zhongshan. We also store some games in Belgium, and we also have like a smaller stock, which is already quite big, in France near the office. Yeah.
So you do not have right now a warehouse in the US?
Not yet. We do have like clients in the US, but usually they take the game either from France or from China.
Okay. So Pierre, you are maybe one of the latest additions to the team.
Yeah.
So what you did before?
Before I was doing completely different work. I was working for 12 years in the event industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I was organizing trade shows, congresses, festival, a different type of events. And then I see the announce to join the export team, as the export department is growing a lot at Gigamic, and as I am like a passionate player, it was so great to try it and to.
Okay, so the main reason was that you can be in games, like in the industry, or do you? Because it seems like something different from what you did before.
It's different, but not so different at the same time, because I was still working in the international context,
Mm-hmm.
with international clients, and I was also a sales person before. So the fact that I'm passionate about games was just the addition of the two, and I was also working during the weekends, apart from my main work, for animation. So I was animator to explain games to people on tables during the festival and trade shows. So it's not so different, but
A bit.
Okay. So you are not only a publisher, but you are also a distributor, right? You are also localizing games for the French market.
Yeah, you are correct. So roughly, like at the beginning of the 21st century, Gigamic decided to open his range. So we start localizing foreign games for the French market.
Do you recall what was the first one?
I think the first publisher was Amigo Spiel. So we had like 6 names for, I think, something like 20 years now in France, and it's this year I think it's the 30th anniversary. And then we open also to Italian publishers, to Spanish publishers. So now I think we localize game now from roughly, I would say 20 to 25 publishers. We don't take all the games they produce, they design, but we try to offer a complete offer for the French market. And recently we start also like what we call the pure distributions. So we just take the game as it is. It can be like a multilingual version or just like French version from French publishers. And we just sell it as it is, as sometimes the publishers are quite small and they need like new opening in key accounts, which I think we already have on the French market.
Interesting. Okay, so you are still publishing more games than you localize, or you are now localizing more games?
No, we localize more games.
Because it's easier.
It's easier, and it's also much faster. We do develop, I would say, roughly 12 games each year. We localize around 25 games, plus the games also we like distribute. And in terms of turnover for the French market, I think it's pretty much half-half. So 50% from the Gigamic games and 50% from the localized game. So we kind of try to make it balance, and hopefully don't release too many games each year, because that's
risky.
Yeah, risky. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. We know. Okay. And how do you select the games that you are going to localize?
So we have two people like scouting games. It can be either on Board Game Geek, online, and also trade and fairs. So usually they can either like look for publishers to and find games to localize, and sometimes like publishers like just directly contact us, show us some PDF, and if we like it, we just ask for like a prototype or like an already made version. We playtest the game at the office, so like almost all the services are involved into playtest.
So this is also part of your job and Pierre's?
This is also part of the job, yeah, which is very nice. Some people say, oh yeah, you just play all the time. We do, it's part of the job, but in the meantime, if you don't test and playtest the game you want to do, it can be risky, and and you need to play the games to get the feelings, and we all like player outside the company. So we are quite now experienced with board games, and it helps.
Okay. So what was the best game that you've played this year?
This year, it's a game not released yet. It will be the follow-up of In the Footsteps of Marie Curie. It will be released for Essen. We also plan to release like a Pac-Man corridor. So it's a license.
Okay.
It makes very much sense because in corridor you move like in like corridors, and it looked very much like the DNA of Pac-Man. So we got in touch with the owner of the brand, and it will be released in early July.
Okay, so basically it's a corridor as we know it, but just rethemed to Pac-Man.
Yeah, and there is a special mode as well, so you can still play it as the normal corridor. And there will be like a special mode, a Pac-Man mode, in which there will be one player against all the ghosts.
Okay.
So you will try to get the power pellets onto the board, and the other player, the ghost, will try to catch you. So you will get 3 lives to win. Otherwise, the ghost will win.
Okay. What about you, Pierre? What's the best thing you played this year?
I agree with Benoit. In the Footsteps of Marie Curie is really cool.
Okay, so the only side thing for me is that we are not localizing it.
And one of the also key game for us this year is Loot. So luckily it will be parts of your portfolio, and we have already really good feedbacks from Loot. It got in the Cannes Festival. It got the golden like hourglass. It's not like an official prize, but it means that it will be one of the most expected games for the French market. We already got commitments from different countries, so we are close to 10 different versions, and it's not yet on the market. So it should be released in late April, early May. So it's already a good sign for us, and we hope it will be as successful as Acropolis. So yeah.
Okay. And if we get back to Acropolis, do you think it's your most successful game or among successful games?
Actually, yesterday we got our like 24th versions, which is the biggest number for Gigamic games.
Okay, so at least it's like the most localized game.
Indeed, yeah, definitely.
Okay, because we've noticed that it won Asdor.
Yeah, correct.
If I pronounce it correctly.
And you do.
How important is this prize? Because I think it's something like Spiel des Jahres for French.
Yeah, but it's still not as big as Spiel des Jahres.
Sure.
It was like until a few years ago, it was like a very French prize for mostly the French market. But for about 2 years, we saw that, and we still see that the festival, the Cannes Festival, is getting like more international. We have many partners, European and partners from outside Europe, that are visiting it. We get also some for example, some new contact when some games are nominated for the As d'Or, which was not always the case in the past. So it's getting bigger and bigger. Hopefully one day as big as the Spiel des Jahres. I'm not sure about this, we'll see. But it's getting more and more trendy, and we start seeing results from outside of France.
So, do you think that As d'Or prize helps Acropolis quite a lot for the French market, or does it mean that it all needs to be a successful game already? Or
yeah, for the French market, it was very successful because now all the key accounts, the big chains in France, like Fnac, Cultura, and so on, they are now like looking for new games and more like player games. We see that we have more and more player games and more and more players onto the French market. So they are like now more focused on this type of game and this type of prize. Yes, last year, thanks to mostly the As d'Or, I think we achieved like 100,000 copies only for the French market. So it very helped us for Acropolis. Yeah.
Okay, so Acropolis was quite a success.
Yeah.
How do you choose games for publishing?
So for publishing, the publishing team usually every year gets, I think it's more than 2,000 prototypes. It can be prototypes and also PDF. They don't like always playtest all the prototypes. So they get like maybe more than 2,000 prototypes or actually info on different games. They select quite a few. So each year I think we playtest maybe 300 games. And we only select 12 games each year. So sometimes we sign game for the year after. But for localization, we playtest the game. So when we sign a game, it means that all or pretty much all the staff at Gigamic playtest the game and like the game. And we need to get the green light from each services.
Okay, so it's quite a difficult process, and only the best of the best go through.
We try to.
Okay, so you are mostly doing like abstract games and now the family and party games.
Yeah.
Do you plan also to do like more complex games like strategy?
Like we localize quite family plus and light expert game in terms of publishing as like a Gigamic publishing games. We are still like not able to develop very expert games because it takes like a lot of time and investment, and we are not well known for expert games. So we prefer to leave it for our competitors and focus on our core business.
Okay, so no plans for expert games now.
Like not like a huge big expert games, and also for the French market. Players get more and more price sensitive, so we don't want also to make and to risk like expensive game, which is usually the case for expert games. So we prefer to leave it on the like family and family plus segment. Okay.
I've also noticed that you've put at Acropolis to Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
Do you think it is somehow important, or what do you think about having your game on Board Game Arena?
So I think Pierre will also answer this one after me. But I do believe it's a really good thing. Like few people were a bit afraid that it would steal some sales from shops. But actually it really helps the shops because usually when they start and like the game on BGA, they just decide to go for it and go into shops and buy it. So we see that it's a good sales lever. Like if you buy yourself or just like traveling, you can play it. You can play some games like waiting for your bus, your plane, or whatever. I think it's very nice, and it's a good way to also to get into board games when you are not like a player. So it's getting more and more trendy, definitely.
Okay. Do you want to add something?
No, I agree with Benoit, and also more players have tested it, more players will talk about it, and so when it's released, it's like a buzz around it. And also as a publisher, it's interesting to sometimes get, like for players that test it in alpha or beta, it's interesting to have like the feedbacks to also forecast the number of copies you should get for your.
Okay, so if the game is really good, then BGA definitely helps.
Yeah, it helps. Also for the playtest, I mean, when we're looking for partners, sometimes it takes quite a lot of time to get like the physical copies. So you can also put some like premiere game onto BGA, so they can playtest it and see if they like it and wants to localize it for their market.
Okay. How did you guys get into gaming?
I always like playing games. Like I have like kind of bad memories of board games. Like I think all the players, we start playing with Monopoly, and we decided that it will not be like for us anymore. And thanks to the like German publishers and publishers from other countries, we start like seeing like what we call modern board games. So we got into board game, like the new board games with Catan, Carcassonne, and so on, and now like more and more unique games. So I always kind of played game and like playing games with friends, and it's good to find some time to share a game with your friends, family. It's always a good moment. You play with also passionate people. And it's a good moment I think, to share with them.
Okay. What about you?
I always play the board games with my family. I had this chance, and even at school with my friends. During the breaks, we were trying the first modern board games, and it's always a pleasure because it's fun to share a specific moment with people. And also it's so interesting to discover new mechanics and mechanisms, and sometimes you mix it and you say, oh, I spent a really good time, I really want to play again this game. So
okay,
with time.
Can you name one game that you like the best, except for Gigamic game?
A lot. It's really difficult. I would say that at the moment, I really like to play Hearth. I don't know the name. We call it Hearth, but I don't know the name here in Czech Republic.
Okay, I don't know which.
We have it by Lucky Duck Games in France, but I don't know for you. It's an inside-up game.
Okay, I don't know what you mean, or.
It's Ark Nova Hearth. They are really compared, and both games are great.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
I think my favorite one is Pandemic. I love Pandemic. I think I have all of them. I might have twice the first season, just as I'm kind of like the victim of marketing, I would say. And I love playing Azul as well. The first one, I think it's like just the perfect combination of difficulty, complexity, and having nice components. Yeah, I would say Pandemic, first Pandemic by far.
Okay, thank you. So maybe we can do a bit of announcement, because we haven't announced Featherweight Fiesta yet. So the localization of this game for the Czech market. Yeah, it's this one. So the Czech copies are or should be finished soon. Do you like this game, or why do you like it, and why Gigamic chose this particular game to be published by you?
So for my part is like the unique components inside. We play tested this game also in kindergarten in France, also on fairs, and we always saw like many like good feedbacks and good reactions from kids. It's very appealing when you assemble the game. It's very appealing on the table as well. And even like as adults, when we play tested the game, we had so much fun, because you always try to make it more complex, and most of the time we failed. But it's very nice, and there is also a cooperative mode inside. So if you don't like the competition, you can still play with your friends, and yeah.
Pierre, have you played it?
I played it, so very colorful. The manipulation is great with the, as Benoit said, all the birds and different sizes. It's also fun because they have like different haircuts. No, the components are really great, and yeah, it's fun to see how child react to that game.
We are also looking forward how this will be like accepted among the gamers and their kids, because I really love the table presence of this one. So we'll see. Though, thank you guys that you came and participated in this video. It was really nice time to have you here, and
with pleasure.
Yeah, with pleasure. Thank you for the invitation, and so far we really love like our visit in Prague. It's very nice also to discover your market, to see the different stores, and to see so many players and games in bookstores and specialized stores. It's always good to have this side, as we are working mostly from France. It's good sometimes to leave your country and to see what is done outside of it.
Okay.
So we have so much fun. Yeah.
So have even more fun, and good luck with Gigamic, and be happy there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.